MkLeo is the best player in the world and a bizarre, once-in-a-lifetime, generational talent.
MkLeo has been the best player in the world ever since the tail end of Smash 4 and for the first 4 years of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate.
My name is Leonardo Lopez, better known as MkLeo in the Smash community. I'm currently considered the best player in the world.
MkLeo is very humble and he's a very nice person. Usually a lot of players, when they get very good at a young age, they are very ego-driven, they're very toxic.
It's not uncommon for people to say that, like, in anything, there is nobody quite like Leo. The guy is a monster.
Leonardo Lopez Perez, better known by his tag MkLeo, is a Super Smash Bros. Player from Mexico City, Mexico. Born in 2001, Leo started playing Smash at a young age and began competing not long after.
When I was like 5, 6 years old, he used to play every single game, and I remember he came home with a Smash 64, and he told my cousin that a lot of good characters were in that game, even though there were only 12 characters. He was already telling my cousin that there was like Banjo-Kazooie, there was like Bomberman, there were a lot of characters that we liked in our childhood, but of course none of them were there, right? But we kept playing the game because thought that we were gonna unlock the character at some point, so we just kept going. Played that for like 2 months, then Melee came out, and that's where my family started going to tournaments. My brother, my cousin, my sister, they always started going to tournaments. I couldn't go because I was really young, but I always wanted to.
But the area where Leo was born and raised, Naucalpan, was not an easy place to grow up. Often described as one of the most dangerous cities in the country, Leo recounts how, most weeks, his family had to pawn things off just to have enough money to eat.
Yeah, it was kind of dangerous. I mean, I don't know if it was a good thing or a bad thing, but I didn't go out that much because, of course, I was staying home playing Smash, right? Like, I know it was dangerous as a kid, but I didn't really get affected by it, but not until, like, I started going to middle school, because I had to go to middle school every day and, like, take a ride, which was, like, 10 minutes long. I mean, it's always dangerous, right? Fortunately, not a lot of things happened when I was going to school. I think I only got robbed once, which is very funny.
For Leo, Smash was a good way to stay out of trouble, and since his whole family, from siblings to cousins, were deeply into Smash Bros, Leo soon found himself following in their footsteps and attending tournaments.
When Brawl came out, we made a transition. We didn't keep playing Melee, we went to Brawl, and that's where I started going to tournaments. I used to play Sheik and Melee, and I used to play Ike and Midnight at the beginning of Smash Brawl. And I don't know, I guess I just liked it a lot. I didn't win, I wasn't good at all, but I just kept going to tournaments because I thought it was fun.
But he wasn't known as MkLeo yet, and for the first few years of his competitive career, he was known simply as Leo. Leo began attending tournaments in 2008, at the age of just 7. Pretty quickly, he showed great promise, and managed to take a set off of the #1 ranked player in Mexico when he was just 8. Within a few months, he started earning money at tournaments and was able to help support his family with his winnings. But Leo was still very young when Brawl was a competitive title, and so he was unable to travel abroad to compete. But as Brawl's popularity was declining, Leo's skills were ascending, and he began playing a new game. Well, sort of a new game. It was a Brawl mod called Project M, a mod which altered the game's characters and physics so that they more closely resembled that of Smash Melee. And as it turns out, Leo was very good at Project M.
So I started playing Project M when Brawl was about to die, and the Smash Bros. Was about to come out. And I used to play Mewtwo, and everybody used to think I was scared by Mewtwo. I mean, I kind of was. Mewtwo was very broken in that game, but I used to win everything in Mexico City.
Carrying this momentum with him, when Smash 4 released for the Wii U, Leo decided it was time to start traveling. With his dominance in Mexico City, his brother wanted to give him a gift so that he could start competing more seriously.
And I remember that my brother was like the one with the Monster Kingdom store was like, "Oh, I see you're doing good. So if you start doing good in Smash 4, I will make sure you you start traveling and you start going to more tournaments because it seems like a very good investment." Like I knew that this was like the life changer, right? So I just went into Smash 4 with all my project and momentum since I was really the best in my country.
Thus, Leo became MkLeo. At the first tournament he attended for Smash 4, he initially mained Marth, but after losing a set early on, he found himself struggling. And that's when he decided to pick up a new main.
So I went to this tournament. My main was Marth, and I remember I lost to a Diddy Kong player. And after losing to that Diddy Kong player, I think that was like round 1 of the top 64. I was really sad because I was like, dude, am I really? Was it really that carried by Mewtwo in Project M that I can't win this tournament? I don't know. I don't remember who told me to go Meta Knight against Diddy Kong. Then when I played him in losers, the guy that beat me in winners, I went Meta Knight and I destroyed him. I think he did like 4% in one game. Like, it was so bad.
Unfortunately, Meta Knight was nerfed pretty early on, and Leo would soon return to Marth and started playing Cloud and even Bayonetta towards the end of the game. But out of the gate, Leo was not a household name. In fact, the Mexican region as a whole was generally slept on.
Mexico in general, the region just didn't have a lot of exposure. A lot of people kind of just wrote off Mexico as a, it's pretty good region or not. There wasn't much attention towards Mexico, right? Right now, if you watch Smash Ultimate, Mexico is known as one of the strongest regions in the world.
Unfortunately, Leo was unable to travel outside of Mexico to compete, since to do so, one needed a valid travel visa, something not easy to come by in Mexico.
It can be tough for anyone in Mexico to get their visa to come into America, and a lot of the top level talent lived in America, right?
The Mexican scene was so, like, people would go down there. So there's another caster named Max Ketchum. He would go down there and he'd be like, dude, Mexico's good, very good. And nobody really took it seriously. A lot of Mexico just didn't travel much. Either, trying to travel to the US is annoying. Obviously, there's customs. You gotta, or, it's expensive in a lot of ways to go to tournaments over and over. And it wasn't until Ultimate that players like Chag, Meister, obviously Leo went to a lot more, Spargo, who now is in contention for the best, have really had that opportunity to show what the scene in Mexico has been sort of cultivating after all these years.
So, for a long time, Mexico was sort of shrouded in mystery. Yes, players would come up to the States every so often to compete, but they were few and far between. However, if there was one moment when the perception of the Mexican Smash scene started to shift, it's when a European player traveled there for a tournament in 2015.
Yeah, so there's a guy named Mr. R that is from Europe, from the Netherlands, I think, and a long time ago back at Smash 4, maybe like 2015, 2016, he went down to Mexico for a tournament, and everybody expected him to win. It was going to be so free, it's guaranteed. And he lost to I think, 14-year-old Meta Knight player.
Yeah, and Leo know that there was a lot on the line. A lot of people were watching, and that was the first time Leo really got to show off to the world how strong he was.
Mr. R had just come off of a second-placed finish at EVO, losing in the finals to 0. And there was a lot on the line during this set, at least for Leo. You see, it was rare for top players to travel to Mexico, and Leo had something to prove. Facing off in winner's side, Leo used Meta Knight's ladder combo, dash attack to up air to up air to up air to up B, to consistently 0 to death Mr. R, and took the winner's set 3-1. The run back in grand finals was no different, and Leo won with a convincing 3-0. With this win under his belt, Leo set his ambitions even higher, targeting the #1 player in the world, 0, and calling him out by name.
And I beat him. I beat him 3-1 in winners. Then I beat him 3-0 in grand finals, I think. And after that, I was like, if this dude goes second place at EVO, almost beating 0, and I literally destroyed him, I imagine what I could do to 0, right? So I just called him out.
He actually called out the best player in the world at the time, and the best player in the world in Smash 4 was 0. And if you look at the all-time rankings, 0 is ranked #1. But especially the beginning of the game, he had this insane win streak. It was like 56 or 57 tournaments in a row that he won.
But 0 Smash 4 Zero specifically is one of the most dominant players to ever touch a GameCube controller. He currently holds the Guinness World Record for most consecutive Smash tournament victories, winning 56 events in a row, and has the sole distinction of winning an EVO title without dropping a single match. Not set, match. At the time when Leo called him out, Zero looked simply unbeatable. But Leo, being the upcomer that he was looking to take the throne for himself.
Oh, I always wanted to be Zero. Zero, he was the greatest back in Smash 4, right? Nobody could beat him. So the dream was to beat him.
Taking Zero to Game 5 is like monumental. That is a task that not a lot of players, especially back then, could do. So he didn't win, but the fact that he took Zero that close really proved to the world that we had a candidate for someone that could be potentially the best in the world, or one of the best players in the world.
As the years went on, Leo continued to get better and better. He was picked up by Echo Fox in 2017, and after Zero retired, several players were gunning for the top spot. Names like Nairo, Void, Dabuz, and Salem were all in contention to take that top spot, but Leo began overtaking them in the last year of Smash 4.
In terms of his dominancy, I would say it began during Ultimate. It was pretty tough for him in Smash 4. Like, he was still ranked number 1 at the end, but it was really, really close. And Leo actually, there was less consistency in Leo's play during Smash 4. Essentially, he had more weaknesses because he was still gaining that experience, right?
When all was said and done, Leo was considered the third best all-time Smash for Wii U player, trailing behind only Nairo and Zero. But throughout his last year of Smash 4, Leo struggled against one particular player. Or should I say, one particular character.
There was Donkey Kong he had a particular problem with. He lost to multiple Donkey Kongs in Smash 4. In Smash 4, Donkey Kong could grab you at 50 to 60%, especially with that rage stuff I was talking about earlier, you know, and do this grab combo called Ding Dong and take you off the top, and it was pretty silly. There was a lot of silly things in Smash 4, but MkLeo struggled against that character quite a bit, and Tweek, particularly as a player, he would always want to avoid Tweek in bracket.
The decidedly mid-tier Donkey Kong was a bracket demon for MkLeo, and the player who most consistently used the menacing monkey to crush Leo's hopes and dreams would become a nemesis of his down the road. Tweek. Tweek's pocket Donkey Kong was kryptonite for Leo, and he tried everything to overcome it, even selling his soul and using Bayonetta. He finally found some success towards the end of Smash 4, but by this point, the meme of Leo losing to DK was cemented in the annals of history. However, the mini rivalry sparked by DK versus Leo has developed into something that still burns bright to this day: MkLeo versus Tweek.
Yeah, he's literally my rival. If there's a person I want to beat, it's him. I know Spargo is very good, and he could be the next best player in the world. I know Gluttony is just trying to do so. I know a lot of players just are trying to do their thing, right? But Tweek, it feels different, because even back in Smash 4, the thing that people don't know is that, like, we used to stay at the same house. The first time I came to the US, I stayed with some friends, and he was literally there. So we kept practicing for a long time, and I remember fighting him in stream, and like even recording videos, like first to 5, first to 10. And I used to destroy him. Like, he literally couldn't beat me. And I remember going to a weekly that day with him, and I remember beating him twice, winners finals, grand finals, 3-0. And in the Cloud Battle, I could also beat him with Marth. But then he started going Donkey Kong. What the fuck? He started going Donkey Kong, and I literally could beat him until like 2 years after. It was so bad. I literally always used to lose to him. Even if I fought Seer in tournaments, I was like, okay, I got it. But if I fought Tweek, I would be like, fuck, I think I'm gonna lose again.
But okay, enough about Smash 4. Now it's 2018. Smash Ultimate just released, and Leo is ready to take his game to the next level. With an arsenal of characters at his disposal, Leo decided it was time to keep up his momentum from Smash 4 and take the mantle of #1 in the world. Unfortunately, it was around this time that Echo Fox, his sponsor for 2 years, folded, leaving Leo without an organization that could fly him out to events. However, just a few days after the news broke that he was a free agent, Big Daddy decided to get a piece of the Smash pie. I'm talking, of course, about T1.
smart. He's gonna try to go low. Can he spike it? He mistimes it. He grabs the head, and with that, MkLeo defeats. He is the best player in the world. MkLeo!
Just a few days after winning Genesis 6, Leo signed with the esports powerhouse and was ready to travel to as many tournaments as he could, which was perfect timing because his rival, Tweek, had just signed with Team Solo Mid a few weeks earlier. With both players on top-tier organizations, it was only fair that the two would trade first places at the first few Smash majors. Tweek would win Glitch 6, Leo would win Genesis 6. Tweek would win Frostbite, Leo would win Ultimate Summit. Tweek would win Gommel, Leo would win, well, this is where the story shifts gears a little bit. While the two didn't win every tournament, guys like Shuton, Kameme, and Gluttony all earned dubs here and there, the two were widely considered to be number 1 and number 2. But who was which was up to heavy debate. But after Gommel, that debate would start to get more one-sided, because Leo would start to go on a tear, winning MomoCon, Smash and Splash, and CEO back to back to back. By summertime, all eyes were on Leo. Leo had his sights set on the biggest tournament of them all, the one that has the power to cement legacies and give birth to legends. That's right, Evolution. After being sent into losers early by Japanese player Kameme, Leo had to fight to stay alive in the tournament.
I mean, I know the tournament happened like 3 years ago, but it gotta be, like, if you ask me what was my first, like, what was the most important tournament in my whole career, I would definitely say EVO. For a lot of reasons. I mean, the most prestigious fighting game tournament, right? Winning that makes you a legend, basically.
After narrowly defeating fellow Mexican player Meister, he went on to beat Scat, Abadango, Zachary, Raito, Samsora, Gluttony, and after all of that, he had to defeat Tweek in 2 sets in grand finals. To say that this is one of the greatest sets of Smash to ever be played would be an understatement. It has 3.2 million views on YouTube, and if you haven't seen it already, well, I recommend pausing the video right now and watching it. Seriously. Go ahead. Seriously. I'll wait. After a grueling first set in which Leo had an unbelievable comeback in Game 4, he would go on to reset the bracket and win the second set with a convincing 3-0, taking the tournament in truly dramatic fashion.
Leo's still able to edge it out over Tweek. I would say probably around EVO. EVO is when the dominance like really started, because like I said, at the very start of Ultimate, it was very back and forth between Tweek and Leo, and then Leo won EVO and kind of just started steamrolling from there, at least to the point where, you know, like you said, getting into every grand finals.
And for the next little while, it looked like Leo's dominance was here to stay.
So yeah, the past 37 tournaments, got first at 30 of them, got second at the other 7. So just getting into grand finals like that consistently and winning that many times.
However, there was one thing no one had accounted for: a global pandemic. Unfortunately for the Smash community, Smash Ultimate has some pretty bad netcode. With 6 frames of native delay to begin with, the extra online buffer makes playing online feel pretty bad, and the online meta can be vastly different from what we'd expect to see at an in-person major. Suffice to say, Leo did not adjust as well as some of his peers, and his results during the online era took a sharp decline. Well, sharp for Leo, which basically means he was in top 8 of pretty much everything, but not in grand finals. When in-person events started opening up again, questions were swirling about whether he would still be number 1 in the world. Coming out of quarantine, the first big event where Leo would have to prove himself was LTC, and it was his one real chance to prove to everyone that the king still had it.
At Low Tide City, which was the first tournament after Summit, which Tweek won, Leo ended up winning. I think he took it over Dabuz. He had to win 2 sets in grands to beat Dabuz. And I did an interview for him. In the interview, he said something to the effect of, like, I didn't know if I still had it. I didn't know if I could win anymore. I thought that I was washed, whatever.
Well, rumors of Leo falling off have been greatly exaggerated. At Genesis 8, Leo would win the whole thing using Byleth and his new character, Corrin. Since then, he's come second at Pound and Double Down, and came first at Smash Factor 9. But he also had some disappointing finishes at SmashCon and Smash Summit 5. With controversy surrounding DLC characters like Kazuya, Min Min, and Steve, As well as many young players nipping at his heels, many wonder if Leo will return to his former glory of being the undisputed #1. If you were to ask Leo, he would have something to say to all the doubters.
It wasn't really about being the best player in the world, because I mean, I'm gonna be real with you. If I wasn't the best player in the world with Byleth, Aegis, Corrin, like, this might sound like I'm carried, but I think it sounds like I'm very confident. But I know that, like, even if Spargo, Gluttony, Tweek, like, anybody takes my spot, I know that I could just go back to Joker and do what I used to do.
While what the future holds is uncertain, one thing isn't. Leo is, without a doubt, the best Smash Ultimate player of all time. With new rivals like Spargo and Gluttony beginning, and new tech pushing the Ultimate meta forward, it's going to be exciting to watch where the game goes next and what kind of storylines emerge over the course of the year. And we're excited to watch MkLeo continue to absolutely dominate. Thanks for watching. This video is made possible thanks to our wonderful patrons. Massive thank you to everyone on this list, and shout out to Jason B, Brendan, QB, Foxy, Moth, Pachana, Sierra, Shampoo, Spartacus, and Yashichi for being platinum supporters, as well as an extra special shout out to Steven and Marco for being diamond supporters. We hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you want to talk to us, check out our Discord. If you want to support our channel and get info on unreleased videos, check out our Patreon. If you want to help us out in a different way, leaving a like, subscribing, and hitting the bell to stay up to date is also appreciated. My name is Jonah. Thanks for watching.